Manager of Yamaha Troy pushing the bike, and Chad Reed getting in his warm-up, that's for sure.
Quite a workout. Walking back up there, Yamaha crew going to take care of things. The AMA, it's up to their discretion how long they give him. Does look like an electrical problem. They're trying to get that resolved. Let's go down to Miss Erin Bates. She has more on this Yamaha situation.
Chad, right before moto number 2, your bike quits on you. We see your mechanics pushing your bike up to the starting line. You're looking rather breathless walking up to the starting gate.
You know, there's a lot of hills here, and that's harder than doing the moto.
You just mentioned it's easy to get your heart rate up when this sort of stuff happens.
Yeah, you know, just kind of freaking out. And I don't know what happened. The bike just stops, and I guess they'll do the best they can, try to get me out there.
This is the second time we've seen this happen to Chad this year. Once in Orlando at the Supercross, and now again here at Budds Creek. The 2-minute rule is not going to apply. In fact, the AMA is going to give them as much time as they need, as long as it looks optimistic that they can get this bike up and running and on the starting line.
Robbie, if he wins this moto, Yamaha's probably going to purposely mess with his bike before all the starts.
I wondered about that at Orlando, too. I mean, everybody's on the starting line going, what's happening, what's happening? Sean Hamlin looks like he's having some carburation problems, no doubt.
Sounded like that at the end of the first moto as well. He came past us and the thing was bobbling. It sounded almost as though he ran out of gas. I don't think that's the case here. It's all topped off. Looks like they got Chad's bike ready to go.
I don't know what it was. In Orlando, it looked like a power valve. Here, it looks like something electrical. They just swapped out, ignition parts.
Starting right next to Carmichael.
Ricky's going, oh, I don't want to see another Orlando. Remember, at Orlando, Carmichael went down all by his lonesome. Let's see what happens here. Moto number 2 with the 250s.
Another flawless start for Carmichael.
Good start by Reed as well, though. Reed just behind in second. It looks like Chad Reed is in second going down that hill. Look at that. Oh, up at the top of the hill, riders cartwheeling. Josh Woods, who did so well in that first moto, a top 10 finish. Looks like Wygant, the 33 also. Clark Stiles, man, everybody bailing on this one. Moto number 2. Hopefully everyone's all right.
Yeah, Hamlin, Dowd, and that's Preston coming through. There's a bunch of guys that barely missed that pileup. Ferry was one of them that almost went down.
Preston didn't even make it down to the downhill. I mean, he crashed up on the top side somewhere.
If you don't get a start up front, you deserve whatever happens. And, those guys are paying the price for being mid-pack in that first corner. All 4 players are up front this time. Stewart close by.
And there's Kevin Windham on the outside, setting up on the inside, trying to get by, and shutting the door is James. But Windham really sticking a nose in there, trying to make something happen early on. Now that he can see everyone, got a good start. Let's see what all 4 of them could do. This is a showdown we've been waiting for. Good track here at Budds Creek as well. There's no excuses, no mud.
Well, this time Chad wants to get a look at Ricky, and he's getting a pretty close look. Stewart's still able to triple through that section and stay in contact. And Kevin, much better start this time. So the best 4 riders in the world, just like they were together in Southwick, together again here, and still staying close. I guarantee you that Stewart can feel that pressure from Kevin right now, and he'd probably like to take some lines to go after Chad, but if he does, he would open the door for Kevin.
Right, and that uphill is so telling. I mean, having to clap the top of that second little step up. The green flag means go in racing, and we're going on lap number 1. Ricky Carmichael out in front of that Makita Suzuki. Fox USA or Fox Racing, Oakley goggles-sponsored rider, and Ricky trying to get away. But you can see those certain times James really closes in hard, but at other times, Chad just is able to pull away, and he's not doing anything special. He's just leaning on the throttle.
Yeah, there's definitely the places around here where it's got its advantage, and especially for the roost. If James is a little bit closer, all he would be getting is a face full of mud from both Carmichael and Chad Reed, and
totally
still can't get rid of Kevin.
Totally different lines, though, too. Kevin has the horsepower to take that low line and still come out just as fast.
Yeah, James has to round that off a little bit better. This corner here, he wasn't rounding off as good as I thought he should in the first moto, and probably learning from that. You can see he doesn't get quite the drive, but he's able to, the bike's a bit more nimble in other places. There's going to be worse tracks for him, believe me. When they get to Redbud, Unadilla, faster tracks, right, James is really going to pay the price.
But that has been the talk, because we've seen James on the internet riding in Colorado. Lakewood going to be a stop this year. He has that 450 at his disposal very soon, maybe, I believe.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. I think everybody in the world would like to see that happen soon. Flags.
Yellow
Carmichael
flags.
Must have made a mistake. Chad's all over him.
And Carmichael loses, I would say lose position, but that's not the case. Not able to get by as Chad Reed, but he loses ground. And now Reed's all over him, and you don't want to open the door for Chad Reed. I mean, he's a lion. He's going to fight for that position, but so's Ricky. And there he goes inside. Is Carmichael trying to hold on position. Chad's going to get a good drive on the outside. Drag race. Oh, baby, that looked like Supercross right there.
Both throwing out the Bubba scrubs right in front of Bubba. Something happened to Carmichael up in that section. We saw the flags waving, but he couldn't have fallen. He got going way too fast. But the gap he worked so hard to build, it closed right up, and now Chad has a second chance.
Hey, it's a race. It's on right now. Moto number 2 of the 250s when we return to Budds Creek, Maryland. AMA Motocross Championships by FMF, and Ricky Carmichael is leading Moto number 2. He won Moto number 1. When we went to break, Chad Reed was all over him, but that's not the case anymore, David Bailey. He is starting to pull away.
Well, what Ricky is really good at is realizing the power that he has over the pack by just crushing their spirit all the time. And he's looking over right now at the battle going on behind him that he has left. As soon as Chad got behind him after his little mistake up in the woods there, I think he really made it a point to just absolutely fly and check out and make Chad go, man, if you want it that bad, I'm just going to be back here and hold off second place and pick up a second overall, because he's still got that edge right now over James Stewart to finish second in the first moto. And Ricky he takes everything away from you. He takes your confidence away. Any chance you think you have of running with him, he just destroys any of those hopes by his pace.
Ricky Carmichael, Chad Reed, James Stewart, the top 3. Let's go down to Miss Erin Bates with Chad's mechanic.
Darren, you got your heart rate up there right before the starting gate. What took place with Chad? What happened to his bike?
Just a little technical problem. I can't really say right now. We made a couple changes just to make sure we covered all the bases, and for sure we don't know. We just wanted to make sure we covered all the bases, and we'll figure out exactly what happened later.
Hey, we saw the same thing happen in Orlando, and he ended out on top, so maybe it'll happen again here today.
I'm all right with that. Yeah, I know he'll be fired up. He got his heart rate up too, so he'll probably have a little anger towards his mechanic a little bit, so he'll straighten it out on the track.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Yeah, when he says he's being safe and they made a lot of changes, they probably changed the black box, everything to do with the ignition. They didn't want to take a chance. They didn't get a second chance there. Kevin keeps having this run down the inside right here, and James keeps taking his same line. If Kevin's that close next time, James is going to have to switch.
Yeah, he's got to change things up. But Kevin Wyndham, look at him on the outside. Oh, man, Kevin Wyndham in untouched territory on that outside. He wants position. This is a battle for third. And James Stewart, it doesn't look like he's racing to catch Reed. It looks like he's just trying to hold off Wyndham right now.
I think James he knows the competition pretty good. He studied these guys for years, and he's probably banking on the fact that if he can hold Kevin off a little longer, maybe Kevin will give up. That's what happened in the first moto when Kevin was chasing after Chad Reed. I thought he was going to get him, and then Reed picked up the pace, and Kevin sort of backed it down.
Amsoil, Chaparral, Napster, Honda, Kevin Wyndham closes in at certain sections, loses ground on others. Let's hear from J-Bone, Jeremy Albrecht, who's James Stewart's mechanic. He's down with Aaron.
Jeremy, after all the drama that's taken place this last week, and especially what happened in practice today, how good does it feel to be up here on the podium already?
It's definitely, a lot better than the last couple weeks. It's a matter of time until he's going to be up here. It's just been a little bit tougher than we expected, but he's a great rider, and we're all working hard to make it up here every time.
So what is happening in the Kawasaki pits, J-Bone? He's still not going to give up any info. That's the funniest thing I've seen in a while.
Look at Fonseca just tripling his way right behind Villeman. Surprised Villeman was out that wide, allowing that to happen. But Fonseca doing pretty good. Not necessarily the good 250 outdoor rider that he's showing us this year. Villeman gets him right back. Just a bad decision through the lap of traffic.
Let's hear what Ernesto's mechanic has to say. Kenny Germain's with Aaron Bates now.
Kenny, Ernesto ended up getting fifth the first moto. He seems to be doing just fine the second moto. How's he adapting from the 250 over to the 450 from Supercross?
Definitely good now. He's got his starts down. He's getting that more consistent. He's flowing with the bike a lot better. He's looking pretty good on it now.
Looks like he's riding with some confidence today.
Yeah, definitely. That's what we're shooting for, is the top 5, and he's looking good today.
I'm not a math major, David, but 5.5 should give him 5 overall. What happens here?
Just triples out. Villeman was trying to get situated in those ruts and set himself up. I think he could feel that Fonseca was coming, so he just stayed out of the way rather than look over. Then Fonseca decides to jump into the inside right there, and not sure why he didn't get into the far inside rut, but that was just a little mistake by Ernesto that allowed Villeman to get right back by. And Kenny's right. Early on in the season, I was thinking, man, that 450 looks like a handful for a little Fonseca. But he's getting better on it. He's super technical. Here comes that line again.
There he goes, setting up again. Now even Wyndham's doing the Bubba Scrub, and James does maybe closes it a little bit, but there he goes. Wyndham pulls up side by side, another drag race. The 14 of Wyndham presses hard on the outside again. Virgin territory. Oh, a half a bike length. If he could get it, he would get by Stewart, but Stewart does a valiant effort and holds him off one more time.
Yeah, James was laid over that little jump on the inside back there and almost slid out and gave the position to Kevin. But I think, like I was saying a lap ago, I think if he can just hold off this pressure a little longer, Kevin might just finally pack it in.
Still clapping the top of that landing, not able to make it up over that step up. James Stewart, who sits in third, he's trailing Chad Reed in second, and Ricky Carmichael out in front. Carmichael going for 1-1 Moto scores, but this race for third is far from over with. The 2005 AMA Motocross Championships have been brought to you by Suzuki. Lightweight, superior power, incredible handling. It's why champions choose Suzuki. And by Honda, the company that defines performance in motorcycles, ATVs, personal watercraft, and scooters. Welcome back to Budds Creek, Maryland. A great Father's Day weekend, as always, here at Budds Creek. I'm Robbie Floyd with David Bailey, Aaron Bates down in the pits, and it looks like heading into the pits is Timmy Ferry mechanical problems. Oh, Dave, if he does not finish this and garner points, that's 4 out of 8 races so far this year, or motos, that he has not scored any points in. It looks like mechanical.
Looks to me like the transmission. I don't know.
Well,
maybe he was just trying to get it in neutral.
Yeah, that's one thing with those 4-strokes. You have to put them in neutral if you're going to get that thing refired, but they're calling it a day. White flag out for Carmichael, going for another win here at Budds Creek. You know, the first race here back in 1994, Mike LaRocco. A lot of people might be saying, hey, they've been racing here before that, but it was 500 before, and now, 250 has been since 94.
Carmichael just stretching out his lead again, making it just look easy. Starts was the key today to get out in front of those guys. I think with the pace he had, he probably could have won anyway, but yeah, look at that.
Look at that. Oh, you called it. You have a little clairvoyant there?
I don't know. Been around it a long time, and
yes.
I know what the important parts of the moto are, and those hole shots made it a much easier day for him. He didn't even get dirty. He could have worn the same gear in the second moto if he'd have chosen to. Chad rode hard all the way up to this point, but there's still not quite enough speed to get after Carmichael.
Carmichael going for 19 consecutive wins, overall wins that is. This will be Suzuki's first win here at Budds Creek in the 250cc class. Let's go down to Ricky's mechanic, Mike Gossler.
Goose, every single weekend these riders seem to make excuses, but it seems like doesn't matter what the circumstances are, Ricky never makes any excuses at all. How's he able to pull it all together every weekend?
I don't know, it's not sandy today. It's a good rough track. The weather is good. You don't need any excuses.
He's untouchable.
He even tipped over on the second lap, so that's probably his only excuse he has.
Not bad for taking the lead and to tip over. He's going to do it once again. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
That's the corner right there that he tipped over in. Then they popped back into view right here. Chad Reed was all over him, and Ricky just said, okay, well, if you think you can run with me, let me just go ahead and change all that up. And he put in 2 solid laps and put that gap back on Reed that he had before he made the mistake, and that was the end of it. I thought Chad might have a little something for him, but considering the problems Chad had at the opening lap here, just the sighting lap, it was good that he was able to rebound for a second and displace Stewart for second place overall on the podium.
And one of the things is, coming into this year, so many people were saying, well, when's Ricky Carmichael going to retire? That has to be, looking back, that has to be the dumbest thing I have heard ever in motocross right now. You saw how fast he was in Supercross, winning the championship, both World and AMA championship. He does it, he's picking up where he left off, in motocross, has 1 moto loss, on the year so far. And this guy's won 6 consecutive times on 3 different brands here at Budds Creek.
He's the greatest rider of all time, Robbie. Bottom line. I've said that before about some riders, they were great, but you can't compare eras. I don't care. Era Schmera. Ricky Carmichael is the best ever.
You heard it here. David Bailey says RC's the best, and he proves it. He's the best at Budds Creek. In 2005, Ricky Carmichael and that Fox Makita Suzuki takes the win. The Suzuki results have Reed, Stewart, Wyndham, and Fonseca, and that should be the way they finish overall. Ryan Clark inside the top 10. Nick Way, again, another top 10 after his injury. Great job. And now our Honda highlight. David, walk us through this.
Well, bottom line was you had to get the start today. and Carmichael got both of them. A little mistake in the second moto allowed Chad Reed to get right up next to him, but a lap later, Carmichael had already built the lead that he had before the mistake and crushed Chad's